We've been actively optimizing for generative engines for a month, but we can't look up a static ranking position. How do we prove this is actually driving enterprise value? Look, if you are nodding your head right now or, actively pulling your hair out, you are definitely not alone. That quote right there perfectly captures one of the most frustrating roadblocks for marketing teams right now. We're all trying to figure out how to track GEO, Generative Engine Optimization, but our old legacy tools, they just aren't giving us the answers we need. And we really have to figure this out because the stakes are incredibly high. Check out this stat from Gartner, a permanent 25% contraction in legacy search volume. Let that sink in. A full quarter of traditional search volume is just being swallowed up by conversational AI alternatives. So sticking to the old way of tracking your search performance, it isn't just outdated anymore, it is a massive, massive risk to your business.
Okay, let's dive into this explainer. We're going to unpack exactly how you can validate your AI footprint, and we're going to use a brilliant framework developed by Fastgrowing.ai. We'll walk through the 4 metrics that actually matter when it comes to tracking your geo performance, and, spoiler alert here, absolutely none of them involve traditional rankings. Here is our quick roadmap for today. We'll cover, first, the AI tracking problem. Second, SEO versus AI visibility. Third, those 4 key metrics that matter. Fourth, your new weekly tracking dashboard. And finally, how to actually win the AI era. Let's get right into it. Starting off with part 1, the AI tracking problem, and exactly why those traditional metrics are failing us. The core reason our old metrics are failing is that conversational engines build dynamically synthesized responses. They aren't just pulling from static lists anymore. Because of that, traditional vanity metrics, fighting tooth and nail for absolute position number 1, standard click-through rates, classic impression share, they literally just do not apply. We have to completely let go of the dream of rank number 1 because, well, in a conversational interface, rank number 1 doesn't even exist. Moving to part 2, SEO versus AI visibility, which requires a pretty major mindset shift. Before we can even start measuring success, we need a paradigm shift. Look at how stark the contrast is here. SEO is a game of position, right? Are you 1, 2, or 3? But AI visibility, that is a game of presence. Are you there, yes or no? SEO tracking happens daily in tools like SEMrush, whereas AI visibility tracking happens weekly, directly inside ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Gemini. Your ultimate goal shifts from securing a higher ranking to earning more citations. It is just a fundamentally different game. All right, part 3, the 4 metrics that matter. Let's introduce this new framework. So if we aren't tracking rankings, what are we actually tracking? Fastgrowing.ai's framework kicks off with metric number 1, citation presence. This is your absolute baseline. It asks one simple binary question. Are you being cited by AI search engines? Yes or no? That's it. This metric tells you if the AI model actually trusts your brand enough to serve you up as an answer. Tracking this is incredibly straightforward, but it is entirely manual. You literally just open up an engine like ChatGPT. First, ask it for the best in your specific category. Then, prompt it directly about your brand name. And finally, ask it how to solve your core customer problems. Just document whether you're cited, again, yes or no, and you repeat this process every single week. Now, when you start doing this, let me manage your expectations on what realistic progress looks like. Notice that in week 1 and week 2, you might see absolutely 0 citations. Crickets. That is completely normal. But by week 3, maybe Perplexity finally cites you. Then by week 4, ChatGPT cites you. That progression from nothing to a citation by week 4, that is exactly what winning looks like in the early stages. It doesn't happen overnight. Okay, once you've established that baseline presence, we move to metric number 2, branded search lift. This asks, are people actively searching for you by name after seeing you in those AI answers? This is crucial, guys. It's the clearest signal you can get that your AI search performance is actually driving real, measurable business value. To find this out, pop into Google Search Console and filter specifically by your branded keywords, your actual brand name. Compare that data month over month. What you're hoping to see is an upward trend of about 10 to 20%. And here's the really wild part. If your branded search is trending up here, even if your overall organic clicks are flat or maybe even slightly down, it means your AI visibility strategy is absolutely working. People are seeing you in the AI, and then they're seeking you out directly.
And that behavior leads us perfectly into metric number 3, assisted conversions. This answers the big question: are people converting without clicking directly from the AI? This directly tackles that huge fear marketers have that AI answers are just going to steal all your direct clicks. In reality, the AI is doing a ton of heavy lifting in the background. You want to track this quarterly using Google Analytics. Keep a close eye on the trends for both your direct traffic and your branded traffic, comparing before and after you implemented your AI strategy. The goal here is a 15 to 20% lift. Basically, users are seeing your brand recommended in an AI answer, they don't click a link right in that moment, but they remember you. Then they convert later through a direct search or another channel. You really have to track the full picture, not just those immediate clicks.
Finally, we have metric number 4, share of voice in AI. This asks, who is the AI citing in your niche, and what percentage of those citations belong to you? This is your ultimate competitive metric for sure. It tells you exactly how much of the AI landscape your brand actually owns compared to your rivals.
To audit this one, ask an engine like Perplexity for the best companies in your specific category. Then literally list out every single branded sites in that response. Count how many times your brand is mentioned. From there, it's just basic math. Divide your mentions by the total brand mentions and multiply by 100. This manual audit is something you should be doing quarterly to really gauge where you stand competitively. The most important part of this is visualizing that growth. You might start out with a 0% share of voice. That's fine. But as you optimize, seeing your slice of the pie grow from 0 to 5% and eventually hitting a goal like 15%, that is the ultimate proof that your visibility isn't just a fluke. It is compounding, and you are actively taking market share away from your competitors. Moving on to part 4, the weekly tracking dashboard, getting total clarity in just 15 minutes. So now that we have our metrics, how do we operationalize all this without, losing our minds? Just look at how this builds a complete picture. This simple little spreadsheet completely replaces the need for complex, expensive legacy rank tracking software. Look at the progression. Weeks 1 and 2, mostly no's and 0% lifts. But then, week 3 and 4, you're checking yes for Perplexity and ChatGPT, and you see that branded search lift creeping up to 5%, then 8%. It literally takes 15 minutes a week to manually check these boxes, but the clarity it gives you on your momentum is unmatched. Finally, part 5, winning the AI era. It all comes down to patience and compounding. I want to wrap up this framework by talking about timelines, because the absolute biggest mistake marketing teams make here is panicking way too early. Here is the realistic timeline. Earning citations, that generally takes 3 to 6 weeks. Seeing a meaningful branded search lift, that's going to take about 8 to 12 weeks. And tracking those assisted conversions, you're looking at 3 to 4 months. The golden rule here is that initial progress in AI visibility can definitely feel slower than traditional SEO. But once that AI trusts you, the results compound so much faster. Tracking your weekly trends is what gives you the patience to see it through. So I'm going to leave you with a bit of a provocative question as we wrap up this explainer. Are you guessing or are you tracking? Because in this new AI search era, there is no position number 1 to fall back on anymore. It's time to stop guessing about your impact. Implement this 4-metric framework and start proving your brand's true enterprise value today.